Hey guys, this is Nick from ReviewOutlaw.com. Today I got my brand new D3 Antminer in. Just want to show you guys how to set it up. So it's going to take about 1200 watts. I get a Bitmain power supply. Purchased that separately. It's about 105 bucks. And this is going to take about, like I said, 1200 watts. So you should be able to plug this into just a 110. I got all my plugs. You want to just double check all your plugs, make sure there's nothing missing. Use all these power cords up. So, and just before you plug in for the first time, that can burn it out. This is missing, and that's okay. You're going to plug in your network cable. You want to make sure it's up off the floor in case it's flooding or anything like that. And it's going to get a little bit loud when I turn it on. But basically, when I plug this in, you can just take a picture here of the serial number in order to get that IP address. I'm going to show you a program that you can scan and find it on the network, and then I'm going to show you guys how to get it set up so it's mining and making you guys some money. I'm just going to plug it in here so you can see how loud it gets. So you just see the lights blinking. Now there's actually not a power button anywhere on this thing, so as soon as you plug it in, it just powers on, and you should see some lights and things like that. And it will get louder depending on how hot it gets as well.
Okay guys, so now that you plugged in the network, you powered it on, you basically want to find the IP address. So what I'm using here is a software called Network Scanner. I'll provide a link in the show notes on where to download it. It's freeware. And basically click here, actually first click here, choose your network range, click OK. It's going to scan between 1 and 254. Basically hit this button. And it's going to scan your entire network and pick up anything like routers, computer devices that are connected to it. Now, I've already kind of gone through in trial by error, seeing that this is it. But basically, you can take all, it's going to come up here without a computer name or a vendor name. You can hit copy IP address, and you pop it into Google Chrome here, paste this baby in, and it's going to prompt for username and password. The default is going to be root for the username, root for the password. And this is basically powered up here. And I'm going to take you through some of the things. First, you're going to want to check to make sure you have the latest firmware version on here. If you've purchased a used one, try to get something pretty new. This is actually very new, only a month old firmware, so I'm good on that. Look and make sure that you get a good amount of free space, things like that. You could go in, change your password if you want. That would stop any viruses and things like that from trying to take over your device. Not a bad idea. Here we can go to monitor. Just going to show the kind of startup screen, kernel log, upgrade the firmware, and reboot. Miner config. Here's where we're going to basically put in the information we need. And I'm going to give you this information in the show notes as well. By default, this has this pre-filled out. Don't be worried or concerned about that. That's pre-filled out from the manufacturer. So I'm going to go to my other miner and just copy what I have in there. This is another D3 miner, and if you have a D3 or an S3, it's slightly different. I'll put this in the notes about what you want to do for the miner here. And so basically this is the URL, and I have a different URL for each. So I have my main one is US, then I have a European as the backup, and then Hong Kong is backup to that. So if one goes down, it gets hacked. Now as far as the name's concerned, this is going to be the worker name here. This is going to be your Bitcoin address, and I put in after my Bitcoin address a .d3, so I know it's where the money is coming from basically. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to change this to D3, and I'm going to put 2. Copy that, and so this is going to be your own address. You don't have to add the .d3. You could just put in your Bitcoin receiving address into here, and that pays out weekly. Password can be anything, but I just like to put X, so password doesn't really matter. And now we want to save and apply that. Now what's going to happen is it's going to probably reboot the miner here. It's going to take a couple of minutes for you actually to start seeing that mining, the money come in, and I'll show you how you can check on that as well to make sure that it's mining and it's doing it properly. But as this kind of refreshes, here under the advanced configuration, you could basically overclock this. The problem I've found with overclocking is you're going to damage your chip over time, and chips I should say, and the other issue is that you get a lot more errors, hardware errors and things like that. So you're not, sometimes, you know, depending if you have enough cooling, I guess you could get some extra power out of it if you're water cooling it or cooling it a different way other than air. But for the most part, I do not recommend that. So here we got it up and running quick. Now, in order to check to see if you're actually mining, you're going to go to NiceHash /miner and then your Bitcoin receiving address. And here you can check all the different miners you have. And as we scroll down here to workers, as you can see, I don't yet have the new miner added. It's going to say D3 and then the word 2 because I added that to the end of the worker name here. But basically you can see the speed, and that's going to go up and down. You want to make sure that XN sub says yes, and if it doesn't, just double check the settings there. But you want to see that speed go through, and on the bottom here you can see payment history, and you can also see projected payments, and I like how it shows it in United States dollars as well as Bitcoin, so you can kind of do the math and things like that. But this is going to give you a quick overview, and you can save this address on your phone and things like that and check it to make sure that your miner doesn't go down. Now, another piece of software that I use that gives me text alert in case I lose power or the miner does go down is a piece of software called Awesome Miner. And I'm going to quickly show you how this works. As you can see, my other miners here, it tells me my temperature. Before I was talking about accepted and rejected packets. Hardware errors, we want to make sure this doesn't get too high. It gives me a ratio down here of like hardware errors 10,000, but that's very 0.0004%, so that's fine. And basically my different temperatures on my chips and things like that, and also kind of another estimate of what I'm getting. I had this set up so if one of my miners go down, it emails me saying, hey, your S9, your D3 miner shut off, you lost power to it, maybe it overheated, or maybe just there's been no new accepted packets coming in for a while. So just got a good way to monitor what's going on with your miners. Also, if you get the dashboard, this is kind of cool. Gives you an overall monthly income report as well. So in order to add a new one, you're going to click New Miner, Next, External, and we're going to name this D3 2. You're going to need to put in the IP address. Another thing you might want to do is make it a static IP address, so it's not changed. This number is not changing. That'd be something that you could do to make your life a little bit easier as well. Hit test connection. It should say successfully connected. I click OK. Hit finish. And boom, here we got, it's kind of letting me know what's going on here. It's telling me the speed it's mining at, which is cool. And if I want to see the profit it's making, I'm going to right click here, define pool coin. And you go to the top. I'm going to say unspecific X11. Here we go. And this is showing me, you know, I'm going to keep an eye on these hardware errors, make sure this isn't too high, and making sure I get good cooling, making sure my temperature doesn't get too high as well. I can monitor the profit here, of course, over time, which is neat, and set up an alert if something goes wrong. So that's the quick setup from beginning to how I'm setting up my miner, getting cash out of it. Now you can go in and tweak this more and try to switch pools and things like that and get a little bit more money out of them, you know, if you want to do that. But this is just the kind of get it up and running quick and make some money off of it. Hope you guys liked the video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thanks.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. If you have time, please subscribe to my channel, click here to watch more videos, or please give me a thumbs up. Thanks.